Some of my most popular photos have been the photos I have shot during night in the rain, and we are going to break them down. I just want to start off by saying this is not in any way me telling you how to shoot photography, and hopefully it is something that you can find helpful, that will help you find your own style. First step for these kind of night photos is going to be the pre-production. And what I mean about this is that you need to have some kind of plan before you go out and shoot. So for example, if I know I want to shoot photos like this, then I know it needs to be really dark outside, and preferably it should also be raining. But since I live in Sweden, and during the summer here in Sweden it doesn't really get that dark at all, so I know that if I want to shoot these photos I will have to wait until it gets darker, which means like the winter half of the year. And that also means that there is pretty much no point in even trying to get these kind of photos during the summer here in Sweden. So instead of going out and trying to get those kind of photos when it's pretty much impossible, then I should try to find another style of photos that I want to shoot during the summer instead. So during this pre-production stage you need to define what kind of photo you want to shoot and make sure that it is actually possible with the conditions that you have. But this doesn't mean that you should wait 6 months and not do anything at all, not shoot any photos. It just means that you should be realistic with the plans that you make. Okay, but now back to the street photos again. And when it comes to street photography, I try not to plan too much beforehand. This way I can keep my mind much more open than if I would have one photo in mind. Then I would try to do everything to just get that one photo, and I would probably miss a lot of other opportunities. And what lens you're going to use is going to play a huge part in the type of photos you're going to be able to get. With a wide angle lens you can get some really cool pictures of buildings, and you can get some really creative angles. And with a 50mm you get something that looks a bit more natural, like we see it with our own human eyes. And if you have a prime at 50mm with a low f-stop, you can get some really nice background separation with some nice bokeh in the background. But personally I like to go with a 70-200mm, which isn't the most common when it comes to street photography, but it is a lens that fits my style of photography really well, because I am a big fan of that nice compression that you get with that 200mm. But the 70-200 could also be a nice option if you are not quite comfortable with getting up closer to people. With the 70-200 you could stay a little bit further away, so for example you could stand on the other side of the street and shoot to the other side. And the next step is just going to be to start shooting while you are on when you have reached your location. And I usually just start off by walking around, looking around, start shooting some photos. And personally I love having music in my ears when I'm out for a street photography session. It gets me really excited and pumped up to shoot, so I highly recommend trying out having some music in your ears. And one of the main things I want you to take away from this video then it is that don't be afraid of shooting a lot of photos when you're out. I mean a lot of photos. Because when it comes to getting better at photography, I think it comes down to two different things. First of all, it's going to be the quality of work you put in. So how much you actually try to become better at it. And the second thing is going to be the amount you put in to getting better at it. So when you want to become really good at photography, you have to put in the number of photos. And when I'm out shooting, I'm always looking for different kinds of visual patterns. So for example, leading lines, I'm looking for colors that match, or different kinds of compositions, just negative space and all of that stuff. And these visual patterns are like the words that create a sentence. So they are the building stones of your photo. But on top of these more technical things that I look for in a photo, I also look for stories to tell. So what I mean about this is that I look for things that are more related to the emotions of the photo. So what do I want the viewer to feel when they see the photo? And it doesn't really have to be that complicated. It can be just a small emotion. Is it a happy photo, a sad photo? Just something simple. And there are many reasons why I like street photography so much, but one of them is that you really have to be super fast. Practicing a lot of street photography forces you to become really good at using your camera if you don't want to miss your shot. But it also teaches you to look at the world with a perspective of a photographer. So you start looking for different kinds of compositions and stories when you are out. But now let's say you have shot your photo, you are happy with how they turned out. The next step is just going to be to head to your computer and start editing them. So let's jump over to the computer. Right, before we get started with the editing, if you have made it this far in the video, then I have a free preset that you can use just by clicking the link down in the description. All you have to do is just sign up with your email address, and you will get this night preset for free. Alright, so here we have this photo of a tram just going down the street here in Gothenburg. Let's start by applying night 1. We get a very blue photo. First of all, I'm just gonna crop this a little bit, but as I said, it's very blue. And with this preset, all you have to do is just grab the temperature slider, move it a little bit towards the warmer, and you can see the difference. And the thing that I love about this preset is the teal and orange combination. So this color here is, to me, absolutely perfect. I love it. And this teal kind of look in the sky. So you can play around with the temperature slider to see how cool you want the photo or how warm you want it. But I think something like this. You could leave it like this, but I'm going to also increase the exposure to make it a little bit brighter. Maybe increase the shadows a little bit as well. And down with the highlights to get the sky a little bit darker again. So that's really nice. Then you can also add some like a linear gradient or something if you want to make this even darker, something like that maybe. Down with the exposure just a little bit. Another linear gradient from the bottom on up, just to pull a little bit more focus towards the tram, the subject of the photo. So here's before, and here is after. And that is all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace!